about to enter a world of true crime. From cold cases to serial killers, missing persons, and more.
100% he did this.
I'd go off into fantasy world.
How much more lucky can you get that you're not on death row?
You want to know what we know.
My name is Jay. This is Guilty of Crime.
Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond the Evidence. This is the channel where justice matters. My name is Marv. I am a true crime fanatic, and I love to dig deeper into the mysteries of unsolved cases. Join me as we search for missing persons, uncover the clues in unsolved murders, follow along with jury trials, and we'll be a voice for the voiceless. I'll share with you the facts, the theories, the clues, the evidence, and the controversies that surround these cases. This is Beyond the Evidence. Hello everyone, let me take this off the screen. Well, you got a double dose of female power tonight.
Hello, everyone.
Yes.
It's
Beyond
Jay
the
with Guilty of
Evidence
Crime.
and Guilty of
Beyond the
Crime joining forces.
It's going to be a good night on Sunday.
Yes. And we're dual streaming on both channels. So that is awesome.
That is. And Sadie's mama's going to be here hopefully for a while. She's usually always on my channel. She better get over here.
Tonight's subject is one of her favorite YouTubers. So she said she has to watch them. And I agree. All the What the Hales fans will be watching their live stream tonight. But this was the only time since I got home later than I expected that we could do this, so they can just come watch the replay and leave us lots of comments, right?
Right. And we have an hour, right? Until till his live.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pressure.
No pressure. So
Right.
One of our Facebook users says, hello, thank you for joining us. Jean, how are you? Yep, Sadie's mom, awesome intro. We'll have to rewatch. Hales Live is on now. Talk to you next time. See you,
Thanks, Sadie's
see you
mama.
on the replay, Sadie's mom.
Yep.
So, I talked about this in the previous live stream that I did. Another YouTube channel, and there's big reasons why we're talking about another YouTube channel. It affects everything that each and every YouTube true crime channel does. All of us. The outcome of what happens with Jeremy Hales in this Florida case can affect each and every single one of us. And it can also affect what you say in our comments.
I agree with that. I watched the latest video and I saw what he was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, not good how they're going about that and how they're approaching the case and trying to take away what he can say, and just terrible. They're saying things that he's not even doing. I saw the laughing part, that he was laughing and he wasn't, but then the judge laughed. So are you going to show a clip of any of that tonight?
I will, but first I thought we would explain to our audience what is going
Absolutely.
on.
Yes.
So, I know a lot of people from Beyond the Evidence have mentioned that they're fans of What the Hales. Great. You know what they're all about. This breakdown is for anybody who may not know what the Hales YouTube channel is all about. Okay? It's Jeremy and George. Now, George and I have something in common, Jay. And actually, you may too.
What's
Because
that?
when somebody hears the name George, Marv, or Jay, what do they think? Do you get, oh, you're a female?
Oh, very true. Very true. I hear bro and dude. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, people that first met me were like dumbfounded. Oh my God, she's not a man. It's a woman.
Right. That's awesome. Now we have that in common because I get that all the time. Hey, bro. Hey, dude. And I'm like, no, I'm a
And
woman.
George
A
gets it from
female.
What the Hales all the time too because she uses her middle name.
Oh,
Yeah, True Crime
interesting.
Investigate says, I thought Marv was a dude interested in
Interested in
boxing. Yes. Yep. So we all three have that in common, so that's wonderful. But so Jeremy and George, like I said, George is a female, Jeremy is all male. Are a couple. They purchase storage units and they resell what they find. But they're also treasure hunters. There's specific things that if they find it, oh boy, they keep it. Like anything Elvis that George does not already have, she calls dibs. Anything garbage pails, Jeremy gets dibs on. It's his.
That would be too. I saw that Garbage Pail Kids. I have a huge collection
Yeah.
of Garbage Pail Kid. I'll
Yeah.
have to show it sometime now.
So it all started out for me because I like to watch coin pushers. Do you know what coin pushers are, Jay?
No, only Storage Wars.
Okay. Coin pushers is a little machine where they put a bunch of coins, like quarters or tokens in them, and then they put cash in it, like little cash in it.
Right.
And you have to drop the coin into the top slot.
Right.
And there's a in the back, there's a table and it drops the coins
Okay.
off the table and pushes it.
Just how it sounds. Yes.
Just
now
like
I
it
know
sounds.
Just like it
Well,
sounds. It pushes them and then you win something if you push enough
Yep.
coins. Right.
Well, George and Jeremy love to go. The place that they go is a mystery. We have no idea where it is, and they won't say. But there's Elvis coin pushers, and George loves to play that. And Jeremy is by her side, and they're talking and playing. That's how I found them, is by those videos.
Okay. That's cool. An Elvis coin pusher.
Yep. Andrea's like, oh Lord, coin pushers. I made her watch a video the one night and she's like, how do you sit here and watch this? And I'm like, it just relaxes me. I love it.
I thought you were going to say they owned it, but they go somewhere and they play it. Is that what you're saying?
They go somewhere and they play the machine. Yeah.
Wow. Interesting. I'm going to have to look that up.
So
yeah,
then,
you can fall asleep to that.
Oh, yeah. I don't. I'm wide eyes watching every movement they make and where the coins fall and what she's going to get. And oh, it's awesome.
Oh,
and they win actual money.
I was going to say, yeah, they're probably really good at it.
Yeah.
You get good at those machines. Yeah.
Yep. So then after I started watching those, I'm like, wait, there's more to this channel than just coin pushing videos. And I'm like, oh, they do storage. They buy storage units. Cool. They have it. They sell it on eBay. They sell it. They have what they call dollar sales wherever they are, whether it's in Ohio or Florida. I mean, it's awesome.
Is it
But what I
anything like
felt
Storage Wars where
it
they
was
find
like
like
it's
really
yes,
okay. Okay.
it's
Well, I'm sure
exactly
a
like
lot of people
Storage
can
Wars.
relate. Yeah, a lot of people can relate to that because that's what I thought initially, like Storage Wars. They find these cool treasures and sell them for a lot of money and keep what
Yep.
they want and whatever else. So good. Good
But not
explanation.
only do they do this, they do treasure hunting too. Like, so they are based out of Ohio. But when COVID hit, they sped up their plans to purchase land in Florida because they wanted to be snowbirds and go to Florida for the winter and be in Ohio in the spring, summer, and fall, right?
Understood. I wouldn't want to be there in the winter.
Yeah.
I'd want to be in Florida too if I could afford to go back. Not Florida, but I
Yeah.
would be out of the cold and into the warm.
So what they did is they picked one of the littlest towns they could find. It's called Otter Creek. It's very small. They thought, perfect, we can come here, still run our businesses from here, go to Storage War auctions around the area where they chose. They're 2 hours from every major city around them. And they were happy as can be. But then at the same time, they like to go treasure hunting on the property and find any kind of fossils, anything they could find, right? So that's why I call them treasure hunters too.
I saw
Like,
that also on their channel. They say treasure hunters, and I'm glad you're explaining it because I was confused what that means. Like, where are they treasure hunting?
yeah. So
So
they're
cool.
treasure hunting in two different places. They're treasure hunting with the items in the Storage Wars, and then they're treasure hunting on land for fossils and any items they can find.
Right. And are they doing it on their new property? You said they have like 70 acres.
Yeah, they have been doing it on their property. And they
That's
found some pretty
awesome.
cool things.
I imagine people bury stuff and we don't know why, but yeah, I can imagine. I've seen some of that.
Well, and you know they have hurricanes there too, so the hurricanes bring in different things too. So
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look at
yeah,
that channel after. Yeah.
but that's not the reason we're talking about What the
No,
Hales.
no, it's
Because
not.
if that was what it was about, I mean, okay, you're promoting another channel, Marv and Jay. Okay, great. Well, the real story is the bigger the channel you have, the more you have to watch your back. Because people know that you have a big YouTube channel with a lot of subscribers and followers, and the wrong kind of people are attracted to that.
And let me tell you, that's the first thing everybody's been telling me now that I'm at like a little over a month in, and every single person I've talked to has said that exact thing. So
I mean, there's a difference between troll and stalker.
understood. But point taken on what you're saying. To set this story up, it doesn't matter. A troll can become a stalker. So
Exactly.
we're having this situation that we're going to talk about, right?
Yep. So, Jeremy and George get a stalker, a woman and a man. Now, they used to be married. They're no longer married. If you watch What the Hales videos, her name is Lynette. They purposely say lie net because she is a con artist and she is continually lying.
Wow.
They call him John Crook because both of them together are trying to con people out of money, items, get anything free that they can.
Now, is this another YouTube channel? I was looking at the comments for a second. Are you talking about Lynette and Crook? Is this another channel or just people that are?
This is their the individuals that started stalking Jeremy
Oh,
and
okay.
George. This is their nicknames.
This is their nickname. Okay, I didn't know if it was another YouTube channel or okay, it's
No.
people that are stalking them. Okay, understood.
Yes. So, as you know, YouTube creators do get stalkers, and the bigger the channel you have, the worse it is.
Yeah.
So Jeremy and George get Lynette and John Crook, the stalker, sending them messages all the time, watching every single video they have, sending them messages. Can you help me? Can you help me do this? You know, can you promote me? Blah, blah, blah. Can you give me money?
Is it is it going from that to like threatening messages as well when they don't answer back? Or is
Not
it
in the
just like they're
beginning.
just okay? All right. Not in the beginning. They started out that way.
They started out with messages.
Right.
Sending Jeremy and George emails, basically. So Juror 13, Jeremy and George are from the YouTube channel What the Hales. They're YouTubers. And we'll show you their channel in a little bit here. So this goes from this woman stalks them through emails, asking them for money, promotion, you know, all this stuff. This woman and her ex-husband live in a different city when this is happening. Well, that all changes.
And so we're here,
yes. Yes, these people find ways to get close to a YouTuber that has a lot of subscribers and money. What's one of the best ways you can get close to them? Stalk them and buy property right across the road from them.
That is the very best way. That's the only way. What are you talking about? What's your address, Marv?
Yeah. So this woman and this man sell their house and they buy property across the street in this little town from Jeremy and George. Now
why do we know?
They're stalking.
Why do we know where they live? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Why do we know where they just told the town? How do they know the address is what I'm confused about.
Okay, so what happened is when Jeremy and George bought this property, nobody was supposed to know what city they lived in or what area they lived in, nothing. It was going to be a secret. Okay. Well, the property they bought was sold to them illegally. First of all.
Second Not on purpose from their side, of course.
Yep. Second of all, the city said, hey, we got some big YouTubers here. Let's charge them extra for their water.
Oh.
So it's corruption in the city town hall. So Jeremy started exposing this corruption.
This is a good backstory. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, the corruption with the people that illegally sold them the land, and then the corruption of what the town did to start charging them extra for their water. That is how people knew that they were in Otter Creek. Otter Creek is not that big. If you drive through it, you can pretty much figure out what the Hales live.
Right. And you're going to show us it, right? You're going to do a map or something later? Okay.
And not to mention, while they're showing the corruption and the fact that this land was illegally sold to them, they started doing videos about the property they bought and how it was sold illegally to them. How people were doing drugs off their property, selling
Yeah,
drugs,
I'm sure. Those
and other
towns are
things.
infamous for that. And were there squatters on the property?
There was what it was is there was encroachments, which mean their neighbors had all of their stuff on Jeremy and George's land.
Now it was 70 acres, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that makes a big difference versus like 5 acres. 70 acres is quite a bit, and it's hard
Yes.
to manage. It's hard to manage.
Well, but they do. I mean, one of the fun things to watch was him and his green tractor running around trying to clean up all. I mean, he personally spent his own money to
Right.
clean up the garbage and crap that was on his land, and he was showing
Well,
it in videos.
well, I would imagine that type of management would be a lot easier if you didn't have people setting up their own tents on their property and selling drugs from it. That's what I mean. I guess here in San Jose, we have these big, we have properties that are really expensive with not a lot of acres, and you still get that kind of stuff happening, and it's hard to manage. But I can imagine 70 acres. So
Yeah, it wasn't setting up tents. It was literally putting their belongings, cars, whatever you name it,
wow.
on their property.
Well, yeah, that comes with it too. There's the tents, and then
Yep.
they get an RV, and then it's a car and a couch and a fridge that doesn't work. So I can imagine.
Yep. So that's how this started. They started showing the corruption of what happened when they purchased this land, how other residents were saying that part of their land that the Hales owned was actually that residents' land, and they had to come out and have surveys done and everything to prove that no, all of this land belongs to what the Hales. And it
now,
actually turned out that there was an addition done on a house that went onto what the Hales property.
Did they have to fix that, or did they let it go?
They gave them what the
Okay.
Hales gave them just enough to where it would not affect their house.
So they sound like good people, and
They are. They help
Yeah.
people. I mean, they've restored sight to one of their viewers.
so they sound like
paid-
good people. Yeah, that are someone's trying to, or multiple people are trying to take advantage of, and then I wonder though what the stalking is going to lead to, and I hope we don't do a video that has it leading to some kind of death or murder or harm.
Well, and this is why we're talking
Let's hope.
about this, okay?
Yes.
This is going to lead into a lot of things. Not only First Amendment rights for YouTubers and journalists to say and speak, but another thing that we're going into is how Florida is not enforcing protective orders, and why and how that leads into in the true crime community, because
Wow.
law enforcement won't enforce protective orders, why women don't get them.
Interesting. In Florida, huh?
Not just in Florida, but in this case, we
Period.
know Florida is not doing anything.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm not too keen on Florida. I hate to say that. So I'm going to learn a lot from you here. I'm always like, let's stay away from Florida. That's like the murder capital of the world is what they
I know.
say.
I
Yeah,
know.
there's
And
too many places to hide bodies and never see them again. So I went to Disney World once, and other than that, I try to steer clear. So I'll learn a lot from you when you talking about the laws there.
yeah. So after they go ahead and do videos and show how the land was sold wrong, and how the town is corrupt and billing them for water when that's wrong, how the mayor is corrupt and how that is wrong. They get their stalker friend, that's this lady stalker that buys property right across the road from them.
So we have a backwater situation, like a backwater town situation where it's probably second generation, third generation of people running the, judicial
Yes.
systems, the lawyers, things like that, like the
Yep.
Murdaughs, right? Yeah.
Yep. So what happens is the stalking from this woman gets so bad, this woman and this man, Lynette and John Crook, that Jeremy tries to get a protective order out of Florida. Like I said, Florida don't like protective orders. So they denied his protective order.
Now you're saying they don't like them, or they don't do them, or they just don't do them often. I'm confused about that one. What
They
did
don't
they
like
not
to
like?
enforce them.
Oh, they don't like to enforce them. Okay.
They don't
Okay.
like to give them, and they don't like to enforce them.
Interesting.
So what happens? Jeremy and George go back to Ohio for spring, summer, and fall. They're still getting stalked by this woman. This woman is not happy because, okay, hang on, time out where I'm going to back up a minute. One of Jeremy's favorite animals is turtles. He loves turtles. He loves to rescue them. He loves to watch them. He just loves turtles in general. Okay? The woman who buys the property across the street. Now, let me tell you about this property across the street, Jay. It does not have a house on it.
So they're just, what are they doing? They got an RV or something? Or they're just there?
It has an RV and a shed. No plumbing, but the woman and the daughter are living in the shed, and the guy is living in the RV.
Yeah,
So,
that's creepy.
You know them poop emojis? Well, all that poop is going into buckets. And where are the buckets going? Probably somewhere on the land. It's disgusting.
Yeah, so nobody seems to care, right?
Exactly. So what does she do? She starts a 501c for a tortoise rescue. That's how she's going to try to lure in Jeremy to help promote her, so that he can help promote her tortoise rescue, and she can get money from
she's deep in that.
people
She's
online.
deep in that.
Oh yeah. He doesn't fall for it.
Do they follow her back? Do they follow back to Ohio and back, or they just okay?
These people are strictly in Florida. But Jeremy goes back to Ohio, and things get out of hand with this man and this woman. So they go to the Ohio courts and ask for a protective order. They have all their evidence lined up, ducks in a row, presented to a judge, and a judge goes, "Oh, you are getting your permanent temporary order."
Good. So Ohio's being reasonable.
Yes.
There is okay. So
Yes.
it sounds like that small town of Florida is just really, number one, somebody's family is just running the town. They don't want to change, and then they don't want big YouTubers in their town. Kind of sounds like that to me.
Yep. So what is the protective order? This man and this woman are not allowed to come within 500 feet of Jeremy and George. If this couple is at a location, say a restaurant, and Jeremy and George walk into the restaurant to eat, this couple has to leave immediately.
In Ohio, but not in Florida.
No, everywhere.
Oh.
Because the protective order in Ohio is guaranteed in every single state in the United States.
Good. Yeah, if you were in California and that happened, same situation, you call the cops right then and there and say, this person's here come get them away. They're too close, and they would come. No
Now,
question.
when we think of protective orders, what do we think? If the person that is not supposed to be in contact with Jeremy and George actually makes contact, what do you think is supposed to happen? They call the police come and arrest them for breaking the protection order, right?
Right. I do think that, and I'm passionate as you about it. However, unfortunately, most of the time in this community, what happens is they do nothing until somebody gets killed. And that's what I
Exactly.
don't want to hear. That sucks. That
So
sucks.
Ohio says you must enforce this protection order to Florida. Florida says, well, we're not going to arrest him. What we're going to do is we're going to send it to whichever attorney, prosecutor, whatever. They're going to review it and see if they broke any of the protective order, and then we'll arrest them.
So they're not going to do anything essentially right now, probably.
In the
What
beginning,
it
they
sounds
said
like.
they were not going to enforce it.
Okay. Now they're just kind
They
of saying
flat
that
out, the Attorney General's
Yeah.
office flat out said, we're not going to enforce it. Until Ohio got involved and said, yes, you will. Well, then they're like, okay, we'll enforce it, but they're still not enforcing it because this man and this woman have broke this protective order. I don't know how many times. Every day it seems like they are breaking it.
Now, what are they doing when they're breaking it? Are they actually like, is it because they're right across the street from there and they're like close to their property? Are they going into the same restaurants? Are they showing up at places? Are they emailing them? Are they caught? Like, what are they doing to break it? I'm curious.
All of the above. So
all of the above. They can't email them.
The first day that Jeremy and George went to Florida, they went straight to the sheriff's office to make sure that the sheriff's office had the protective order. Guess who was there within 2 minutes of them showing up?
Tell us.
Lynette and John Crook.
And nothing happened.
Nope. They were told they had to leave.
Then now this is in Florida, right? Because Ohio's going to probably enforce it.
Yep. George goes to the post office. Lynette comes in the post office while she's there against the protective order.
This is an interesting case because, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, why they're stalking them, or do they actually think they're going to get money out of them, or they're just super focused on, and now we're in court, right? We're going to lead up to them going to court. Yep. So, I mean, they're literally just wasting resources to get a look at them, get a reaction. That's interesting. Don't know. Yeah. Like, what is this going to lead to?
Jeremy and George don't want anything to do with them. They don't want any communication from them, nothing. Okay.
Of course.
So they take them to Ohio court because they're to get the protective order and because they're breaking the protective order. Ohio court is going to hold them in contempt of the protective order because Florida won't do it. But
is that only if they go back? Is that only if they go back, though?
Well, what's going to happen is, let me get to there. After I have to get through this next part, and then we'll get to that.
Okay.
So in the meantime, Lynette says, well, he's stalking me. And she files for a protective order in the Florida courts. She's denied. She files again. And this is where Judge DeThomas comes into play. It's set in front of him. The first court hearing, Jeremy's there with his lawyer. Lynette is there with no lawyer. Okay? This judge, she's just rambling. She's trying to present evidence to the judge, and the judge says that is not evidence in this case. He's giving her advice off the bench, legal advice off the bench, and he's not supposed to. He's there to listen and to make a decision. He says to Jeremy's attorney, why don't you go talk to Miss Lynette Preston and see what you can figure out for depositions and stuff. And Jeremy's attorney is like, wait a minute. No. The Ohio protective order says she cannot have any communication with Jeremy or any third party person related to them, meaning any of their employees, and this would include the lawyer. Okay? So they decide that they're going to have to continue this hearing because they didn't get very far. This is where it gets out of hand. Lynette accuses Jeremy's lawyer of trying to buy her off, pay her enough money to drop the protective order. So Jeremy's first attorney becomes a witness in the case and can no longer represent him because of her actions. So he has to go get another attorney. Because of this, because Lynette said that Jeremy's attorney tried to pay her off, the judge, not hearing any evidence whatsoever, grants her a temporary restraining order against Jeremy.
So she's granting Lynette a restraining order against him now?
Yes, a temporary one.
That's interesting because she's the one that wants to be near him or near them.
But this is where we all come into play. This judge tells him he cannot talk about her at all. So
Yeah,
because he's doing YouTube,
Yep.
he's doing YouTube videos explaining how this woman is stalking him and stuff, that is taken away. His First Amendment right stripped by this judge.
He was talking about the judge today too. So
Yes.
yeah, I heard all about that.
But the judge goes further than that, Jay. The judge says if any individual that follows you, works for you, or in any terms is associated with you, says anything about this woman, you will be held in contempt and put in jail.
Which is interesting that they're protecting her and not protecting him.
But the big thing is, how can the judge even put that on him?
Yeah,
because he's not responsible for what somebody else says.
No, absolutely. And I wonder if that actually, if something was to, come out or he was to say something, if they would actually hold him in contempt or he would actually be charged. It sounds like the judge is overstepping what he can do, right? Or is it a she?
The judge would, in this case,
Okay. I know that there's
Jeremy Hales for that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a big overstep. And I know that they're going back and forth. Now, are we talking about a female judge or a male judge?
Male judge.
Okay. It's the old guy with the beard.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
a visual person, so I'm trying to set it up in my mind. Yeah.
So the judge completely takes away Jeremy's First Amendment rights to speak or have anybody else speak. They had to do things on their YouTube channel and block out anything that any of their viewers said about this couple.
Previously?
No, during this temporary injunction.
Oh, okay. So anytime after that, they were...
Yes.
Wow.
Because if anybody in the chat had mentioned her name, this judge could have thrown Jeremy in jail.
just get arrested. Just straight up arrest him for saying her name. Wow.
This is out of Levy County, Florida.
Levy County. Interesting that they're fighting that battle too. And they're fighting that battle. Wow. I would almost just like sell the property and get the heck out of there. But yeah, I mean, I can't wait to hear more about it because it sounds like a freaking mess already.
Yeah. So not only that, they take away his right to bear arms, because when you have a temporary or protection order against you, you lose the rights to bear arms.
And this is why I stay home. Oh, wow. So he can't. So interesting, because he probably has a bunch of guns.
Now listen to this.
Yeah.
This is how this affects him. He goes and he purchased storage units. In storage units, they find guns and ammunition.
Yep.
If that happens, he immediately has to get them taken out of there and away from him, or it could break this temporary restraining order. In the past, when they have had live events and stuff for the communities, they will hire armed guards, security guards. They can no longer do that because no one around him is allowed to have a weapon.
So now this applies everywhere. So he goes back to Ohio.
Yeah.
Wow. This is quite a mess. Then
in Ohio, not really, because Lynette's not there. But when he's
what's
Florida,
happening?
It sure applies.
So he's just fighting. He wants. I mean, it's affecting you. It could affect me. It's affecting, and this is what we're talking about here, because he could technically just say, "Screw this. This is just a bunch of garbage." But I mean, he's trying to fight for everybody for that not to happen to them. Because if that was to happen to me, I'd probably just, if I was able to, walk away and get the heck out of that backwater water town, right? But yeah, this is it's a big
okay, so if this goes through, if this injunction goes through, this sets precedence in future court cases.
Absolutely.
And it can affect not only YouTubers, but any journalist or media person.
Right. And it will go farther than that. Once they get it past those, it could affect, it could be a bigger effect if so he's fighting it, as I can see, which is good.
The judge does not like his first attorney, Mark Fetter. Does not. There's been 5 hearings. Mark Fetter was in the first hearing. The second, third, fourth, and fifth hearing, he has his attorney, I think his name is Schotter. So, in every single one of those hearings, Judge DeThomas will not let Jeremy's attorney speak. He cuts him off, he interrupts him, and he throws in his face that the first attorney said it would only take 15 minutes to litigate this case.
Okay, so he's letting him talk, but not really. Okay. Understood.
And he's creating bias against Jeremy because of his first attorney.
Yeah, I see that. He really can't stand him. And you can see that he's got the disdain in his voice, and he's very condescending towards him.
Yes. So this has gotten so bad, Jay, that they just last week, they had the 5th hearing, right? Jeremy's attorneys have asked for this judge to be taken off the case 3 times now.
And who's approving? Who's denying that? Who
the judge.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then.
In the first motion to recuse himself, the judge wrote something like a 16-page document stating how good he was and why he should not be taken off the case. Most judges just say denied. This judge loves to talk. Second
and
time.
you could tell that he doesn't like. I mean, you could tell that he's biased, which normally, when you see something like that, and the whole world could see it because it's on video, which is great. And this is
Yes.
why we should have video in every single courtroom all the time, no matter what. It should be video, but you can clearly see that, and hopefully you play a clip so we can
And now let
see
me
it.
tell you, Jeremy has paid out of his own pocket to have every single one of these hearings recorded and any
Interesting.
depositions. So therefore, when the tapes are turned over to him, since he has paid for them, he is legally allowed to do whatever he wants with them. He has
Okay.
shown every hearing on his YouTube channel. So if you don't believe what I'm saying and how this judge is biased against him, go watch the hearings for yourself.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so that's where I was confused. I saw the hearings and I saw the judge, and I was like, "How can they go about that? How just right there? How could they go about that and not say anything?" Anyway, it's fine. How they go about doing that when I thought it was like court TV or some small ABC News, but that's him filming his own thing. And unless he gets it out there on his channel, I mean, nobody's going to see it.
He's not filming it himself. The court is filming it.
But he's
he
paying
has
for it.
bought
Right.
the recordings.
Oh, okay. He had to buy the recordings, and
He had
now
to
he's got them on
pay
his
for
channel.
the recordings, yes.
Interesting that there's nobody above the judge that's helping this out, because if you watch those hearings, it's clearly like if we're
But
sitting
there
there.
is.
So why is it? Yeah, that's I'm curious.
Because after that first hearing, and he took away Jeremy's right, freedom of speech, to talk, to bear arms, and then get this. There's a third part of the injunction. They live on the same road.
The judge and him?
No.
Or
Lynette and
John
Cook and the Hales live on the same road.
They're across the street.
One's
right.
on one side, one is on the other side. The judge takes away his right to drive past their house and use that part of the road. Instead, he has to go the opposite way, go all the way around on the highway to get to his other place of business in town.
Yeah, I think that this judge wants these guys out of the town, is what it sounds like to me. And I wonder how that's gonna be spun. Like, how is he gonna get past that?
Well, Jeremy got past a little bit of it because they went to the judge's boss.
Okay,
and
now
said,
we're getting somewhere. Yeah.
Listen, the judge is making decisions that are beyond his authority.
Absolutely.
He is not allowed to tell Jeremy and take away his First Amendment rights of freedom of speech. He is not allowed to tell Jeremy, he has no authority to tell Jeremy that if anybody else around him talks about these individuals, that Jeremy will be held in contempt of the injunction.
Absolutely not. You can't even talk to people like that.
And the boss says you're exactly right. So in the second or third hearing, the judge had to amend the injunction.
That's good. So he's making a little bit of progress.
That is how Jeremy is allowed to continue talking about this.
Okay, yeah, because he definitely is, and that's good that he's making it everyone aware, because I mean, you know, the Ethan Crumbley case, just the way the judge, she recused herself because of the way that she talked to them, and they kind of got into it a little. That was just a little bit. She didn't really do anything too bad, but these guys, I'm listening to them talk to them, and I'm like, can you get away with talking to someone and then putting these judgments on them, right? Like they clearly don't want them in the town.
Exactly.
That's my thought.
So the latest that has happened, as I said, they have asked the judge to recuse himself 3 times, right? This just happened the other day, the third request. And he denied it in writing. And they had a hearing, this 5th hearing. in that hearing, Jeremy's attorney finally stood up to the judge and said, "You need to let me talk without interrupting me." And the judge finally did. And Jeremy's attorney told him, "We are taking this to the higher courts. We are requesting that you be removed from this case and any future case that Jeremy Hales or any of his attorneys may be involved in."
And so now yeah, that is huge. They haven't come back yet with anything, but that is huge. And I think that it should have already been done, but let's hope.
They tried to give the judge a chance.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 times.
I gave them 3 chances, in fact.
But we can see them on camera. And I mean, anybody that wants to go, to the channel afterwards and check it out is going to see that this is like one of the most ridiculous things. I can't believe that they're getting away with.
Yes.
I have no idea why.
What happened the other day is he finally, now Lynette has hired an attorney now. So in the 4th and the 5th hearing, she has an attorney who is really good friends with the judge. And the judge actually took care of this attorney's divorce. Talk about conflict of interest.
Oh, no, we're talking Murdoch case here. I mean, this is, anybody that's on any true crime channel, that is everybody. It's either a cousin, a friend, baptized a kid. They all hang out. They play pool together. The judge goes to the bar. So this is that kind of town. And it sounds like he's going to have a fight ahead of him. But if he keeps going, then he can go higher above where someone on the outside can see, because this isn't going to go anywhere other-wise.
No. So this is what happened.
Yeah.
So this is what happened. His attorney says, we are in the process of filing a writ to the higher courts. We need a few days to get this done because one of the attorneys helping us has some things that she must take care of. And in the end, Judge DeThomas says, fine. As long as you process this writ by 6 a.m. on March 1st, I will give you that time and we will not do anything with this case until the higher courts say whether I can continue or not. So, as of right now, that injunction, that writ to the higher courts was submitted at 5:55 a.m. on March 1st.
Okay, so it was submitted. Okay.
And the upper courts have accepted it, which means they're going to hear it.
Yes, which they're probably going to step in. It sounds like it.
Yes.
There's too many things going on, too many people that know each other, and too much power in one spot.
So now I want to tell you what the biggest thing about this is. Okay? Jeremy knew that by doing this, this judge would keep that temporary injunction on him. And he said, fine, keep it on me. I'll obey it as long as this goes to the higher courts and they make a judgment on whether you have gone above and beyond your authority and are biased and are not giving me a fair hearing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be around them anyway. So yeah,
and they're going back to Ohio soon. So
yeah, good.
It's not going to affect him.
It's not going to affect him. Number one, number two, maybe it'll make some change, and they're going to look into it further because I mean, it seems like that's been happening for a long time in that town. And when you get a big guy, a big shot, which I'm going to call him a big shot right now because you got a lot of money in a town that doesn't probably have a lot of money. And yeah, everybody knows who he is, and they probably don't want him there. So yeah, I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Do we know when they're gonna make a ruling, or is it just kind of up in the air?
Right now, because this just happened on March 1st, it's up in the air. They had the Supreme
Okay.
Court has to make a decision on whether a hearing's going to be held, and then just
Right.
like in the Delphi case, they called it a writ of mandamus. This is a writ of something else in Florida. But if the upper courts decide to hear this, which it sounds like they have because they have accepted it, they're going to have a hearing. Those attorneys are going to hash it out. And then they're going to make a decision whether the judge should be removed from the case or not.
Well, let's hope he
That
is.
could take that could take months.
Well, especially if it gets denied. Hopefully it doesn't, but it could get denied and go back again. I mean, that's just how it goes. A lot of times they don't care about that kind of drama going on. They're like, take care of it yourself. We don't need to be involved in this. And then it may take a couple of times. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I don't understand what the people are doing. I guess I never understand. We never understand stalking, right? There's a lot of cases like that. We never understand why they do it. And with these people, I can't understand like what they're getting out of it other than bugging them and putting them in court. And maybe they just want to be near them. I'm not sure.
I want to tell you one more thing, Jay, that is just absolutely absurd about this case. Because Jeremy has the protective order out of Ohio, they appoint an advocate to Jeremy. Right? This advocate does not like Jeremy because of this case. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, Jeremy and George are in a different city. They are at Walmart, and this advocate of the court sees them in Walmart. They go to eat at one of their favorite places called Barbecue.
And that's their advocate?
No, Jeremy and George. Jeremy and George go to eat at Barbecue.
And it's
the advocate's son walks in and hits Jeremy.
What?
In the back, batters him. Jeremy's trying to calm things down, says to the kid, you must want an autograph, let's go outside. Wow. Gets him out of the business and out of the establishment so that nobody else can get hurt. And
is this in Florida?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Okay.
And this guy throws his iced tea at Jeremy.
Stay away from Florida, everybody. Just kidding.
So the advocate for the court
and there's nothing
for this case, her kid batters him.
And nothing happens to her kid. Right?
He never got arrested because guess whose daddy is part of the sheriff's office?
Well, his dad, right? They're all connected. This is another they're another town being exposed like Murdaugh. Now that we have social media out there and instantaneous communication, this is going to start happening more and more, I believe.
Yes.
These generations have had it, the generation that have been running things and nobody's paying attention. People are paying attention to everything we do now. So we got to be careful of that, number one. But
corruption is going to be shown on YouTube and any other platform that they can put it on.
They got the wrong people in that town, and I think that's why they didn't want them there. The wrong people in that town that show everything. And now I can understand why they don't want somebody like that there, because corruption does run deep, especially in those states where great grandpa, dad, and then kid. We're in a new generation, and you can't get away with doing things like that. Well, you can, but not for long.
Not for long anymore.
Not for long anymore. And that's what I'm going to make my predictions on this case, that they probably will. That now that it's gone to the next step, they're going to come back with some repercussions. There's no way they're going to let them. And did he file anything against the kid that hit him, or did they just let it go?
No, he wants charges pressed.
Okay, good.
He
so that at
wants
least
him
that's
arrested.
good. So at least that's going to be somewhere in the documents, like, hey, this is going on, and I'm following my rules, and look at what's happening here. So yeah, I can see why they don't want him in their town.
But the reason Jay and I are bringing you this case, and you can go watch this. I'm going to show you this, okay? I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you where you can find the information about this case. There's 2 different places, okay? This is the What the Hales YouTube page. If you go to playlists, there is a playlist that is called Otter Creek, ODDER, because they have renamed the city they live in from Otter, OTTER, to Otter, because it's just so odd. The corruption is so odd there, right? So I encourage you to go and watch the Otter Creek, Florida playlist.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna.
It'll start you from the beginning of when they moved to Florida. But if you just want to see the things that are happening now, look for anything within the past 3 months.
What is his following like? Does he have like I can't see there how many? 679,000. Is that what I'm looking at? How many subscribers?
They have 697,000.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Subscribers.
That's huge.
They have put out 1.9 thousand videos.
Okay, yeah. I can see why a little town
Huge
like that wouldn't want them there.
Channel.
Look at the people in the videos too. You just barely see it, and you see it's it's that generation that's almost about to get out of there, but they're not quite there yet, and they're not used to this social media exposure. They don't want it.
Yeah. Now, if you click on videos, you are going to see the most recent court stuff that's happened.
Yeah, I've watched that. I encourage you all to watch that as well.
Yep. Now, like I said, every Sunday they do a live. Every day of the week, otherwise it's a video. Okay.
Every day, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Sometimes every other day, depending how busy they are, but
well, that's cool. I mean, they're on it. Yeah, I can see why they have so many followers.
But if you look at the videos, you will see the actual court hearings. He shows each and every one of them.
Yeah, I encourage you to, if you want to see and get a quick fix like me, I like to go backwards. I like to hear like how they do with movies. They put out a part 1 and then they go backwards. They tell you the storyline and then you want to hear deeper. So I recommend to anybody, any of my viewers, Marv viewers, take a look at The Judge Threatens Me and work your way backwards so you can, if you're that type of person and you want to see, you don't want to wait for it. I don't want to wait for it, so I work backwards. But that was a good one. The Judge Threatens Me will tell you all.
Yes. So now, Jeremy has been pleading for help from other YouTubers that are willing to help him. Well, Jay, he got a big one. He got a big one because this...
Yeah, I didn't realize they were so big. I saw him earlier, 697,000 followers.
I want to introduce you to
Yes.
the DUI guy plus.
I love that guy.
This guy
I love
is
any of
an
this. Yeah.
attorney.
Yep. Love those guys. The lawyer you know is a good one too.
Yes, but this guy specifically, look at everything he's been talking about. What's happening with What the Hales?
That's where I found him on too. Was I found him about Turtle Boy, so now I'll go back and watch him about What the Hales.
So, if you are interested in watching his videos, here's his link. Then you have
Megan Fox.
Megan Fox. She's a columnist. She
Megan
wrote a
Fox
column on this that went viral.
Boy, and she has 40,000 subscribers. Okay.
Yeah. 40,000 subscribers. She also has done videos on this.
New threat letter. Busted for
What the
I'm gonna
Hales
go
versus
subscribe.
Judge DeThomas, round 1. Hearing watch.
How many views? Oh, they're gonna do that. It says 280. It looks like it's coming up. Yeah. That's a good one to watch.
What the Hales new court or new filing to strike grudge judge with appellate court. 37,000 views. Dramatic reading. Oh, no. What the Hales reading grudge judge's refusal to recuse. Jeremy can't share this on his channel, but these other individuals can.
Right.
So remember that big document I told you that the judge wrote when he denied the first request to recuse himself?
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah.
She reads
it. That's awesome. And Megan Fox. Okay.
I'm putting this in the channel or in the comments.
I want to see this because I want to see how bad it is.
And there's others that have joined in with them
right
now that are reporting on this. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna at some point prevail on this because what they're doing is absolutely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
This is not just like drama being told that absolutely they went to the wrong town.
Yep. So how does that impact our true crime community? Okay. One of the ways that this case impacts our true crime community is because women will not go get protective orders because law enforcement does not enforce them. This is not the only place this is happening.
I fed the dog. What other places that you know about? That's interesting this day and age, but
look at all the cases that we go through, Jay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
all the women that have been
protective orders. I do feel like
unalived by their husbands, they will not go get protective orders because law enforcement will not enforce them.
And see that, you're right. There's the thing. Even if they do get them, it always ends in them not enforcing them. And then the only time that they step in ever is when they get unalived.
Exactly.
Even when there's a situation there's domestic violence, somebody gets beat up or whatever, they're just like, okay, stay away from him. You stay separate. Nothing happens in these cases ever until we have a really bad situation. And I don't understand that. I really can't comprehend that.
Unalived wife unalives husband.
Right.
Then something's done.
And that's with stalkers too. Stalkers, I mean, it's gotten better. But it's always too late. It never happens until somebody is unalived. Right.
So how do we get these law enforcement agencies to enforce protective orders so that this stops happening?
That's a good question.
That's how this affects our community.
Absolutely.
And this is why we're doing this live about the Hales. it's about First Amendment rights and rights to have bear arms, but it's also a meeting of the minds to try to figure out how to make law enforcement enforce protective orders to
Yeah, I
protect
want
these
to
people before they become
before
unalive.
I think I'll look up some cases like that because I can probably think of 10 of them off the top of my head and pick one that protective custody, protective order after protective order. Nobody listened, nobody did anything, and it's always too late. There's every single time in the true crime community, it's always too late. They do not take it seriously. They come and they say, okay, sir, can you or whatever, it could be a stalker, it could be
Right.
husband and wife, whatever it may be. They don't do anything, and I don't know why they waste resources even writing up a protective order if they're not going to actually take them seriously. It
Exactly.
never ends good. You can
Exactly.
keep going back. Yeah, so that gives me a good idea for a case just throughout the week on my channel. I want to find something like that because I know there's ones that like they go back and back and back, and they've done like 10 protective orders, and then guess what? They're not alive after that. And you have the mom sitting there saying, but they did that, and we went and we filed and we were at the court. They do nothing. And I just wonder why. That is a good question. That's a rhetorical question. Why they even put it out there if they're not going to do anything.
And
I don't know.
That's how all this, besides silencing our voices, that's the second reason this case is so important to us. We do not want our First Amendment rights taken away to be able to tell these stories. And secondly, we have got to find a way to start protecting these people and making this count and making sure that law enforcement enforces it.
Absolutely, as well as stalkers too. So there's a whole bunch of things going on in this because recently just watched a couple of cases between last weekend and the weekend before of stalkers of not necessarily YouTube, but social media influencers or like YouTube young girls that play music and they get a stalker and it ends really bad. They don't take it seriously.
This also goes down to the everyday person.
Absolutely it does.
You have girls that are being stalked. You have men that are being stalked by women. This it starts at the top, but it goes all the way down to the very bottom.
Right. But the way
anybody who has a stalker should be able to get a protective order and have law enforcement enforce it.
100% agreed. But it doesn't happen. I can think of one college, a college girl that had a protection order, and he kept coming back on campus. Didn't even go there, and he kept coming back. And guess what? He unalived her in her car on the campus, and they didn't do anything until that happened. So it happens all the time, and she was not any kind of YouTuber or any of that, nothing, just regular student. And this guy was obsessed with her. So, but it happens to men too.
Yes, it does. Juror 13 is correct in what she says. A protective order is a worthless piece of paper. I blame the one who breaks it with one thing on their mind. The protective order is what needs to change to jail time. Keep them locked up when they break the order.
Absolutely. I think if they enforced it a little bit, I'm not even saying a whole lot initially, give them, 60 days or something like that, just to like really mess up their world. You're going to lose your job in 60 days if you get put in jail. You're going to,
and if they break it again,
they break it again, go hard, but they're not doing enough at all. And so they just keep doing it. You need
they're not
enough
even
to
putting them in jail.
I know they're not, but if they did something like where I would mess up their, oh shit, I'm 2 months behind on my mortgage now and I lost my job, I better stop stalking them or whatever. Give them some consequences, but they're not. And that's why it keeps moving. And that's what worries me about this case is a lot of things worry about this case, but the stalking issue is still at hand, and now we have all these other things going on. What's the end result of the stalking issue? Why are I
Right.
mean, what are they trying to get out of it, and how's it going to end when at some point they do come face to face? You
Well,
know,
that's why Jeremy is doing everything he can in
right?
court. This is not the only case he is bringing against her. Okay? He has brought the case for the protective order. She has brought a case to get a protective order against him. One of the other things that she did, and they have a world-renowned handwriting expert to prove that she did it, she wrote big signs that said Jeremy Hales is the Ohio, and I'm going to say this word, but you're all going to know what I mean because I can't actually say the true word on YouTube because of the violating their community standards. She wrote, Jeremy Hales is the Ohio rapist.
Oh
You
wow!
all know what word, it's not rapist, but
No,
you
we
know what
know
word I'm talking about.
the
He
R
is
word,
bringing
guys.
he is bringing another case for defamation against her.
Now, listen to this. Okay, hear me out. He's bringing all of these cases. She's fighting. She's in court fighting. She's got to be paying for a lawyer, right? She's got to be. I mean, they've got to have some kind of something. How
She
is
doesn't have any money. She got a supporter from online to give her $7,000 to get this attorney to represent her in the protective order case.
okay? So Jeremy clearly has a lot more means that he can keep going to court and to court and to court. When this comes to
Jeremy,
a head, she hasn't done any jail time for any of
no,
this, right?
no, not
She's
yet.
the one stalking him. She's followed him all the way across. I don't know where Ohio is right now, and
She's not from Ohio. She's from Florida.
okay, so she's from
She's
Florida.
stalking him in Florida.
In Florida, okay. I didn't
When
know if
he's
she
in
went from
Florida.
Ohio. Got it. I didn't know if she went from Ohio to Florida,
No.
but she's not gotten in any trouble, and now she's got something against him. When she does run out of money or they're done doing this court stuff, what is her goal? Like, what's going to happen with them? I mean, somebody hit him. That could have been someone could have came up to him and stabbed him when he was out there eating, right? It
Yeah.
was lucky that happened and it didn't, but I just wonder what's going to happen when nobody's giving her money anymore and he's taking her to court. How are they going to be unhinged? I haven't seen these people, so I don't know what she looks like or he. I know what George and Jeremy look like, but not the other two. So
Yeah.
what's going to
Well,
happen then?
So
That's
Ohio is stepping in because
okay.
Florida is
Good.
not doing anything with the injunction. Ohio is stepping in. They have mandated, or they are going to be mandating, that at the next Ohio hearing, that Lynette and John Crook be present in Ohio.
Good.
If
Good. So
they
they're gonna
are
have to
not
find means.
present, they will have a warrant issued for them.
Good. I think they need some jail time to put some of this to an end because
And I think
otherwise,
Ohio's going to provide it.
Yeah, I think they absolutely need some jail time for what's happening. Otherwise, something worse is going to happen. That these people aren't just doing this for the hobby. They've got some aggression towards them. First, fascination. Then, when the fascination went away and they wouldn't help them financially, they have other things behind it that's that we don't know. But aggression is coming.
This isn't this woman's first go around.
So there you go
Do
then.
you know that she has 39 aliases?
Wow, and she's still not in jail. No, I don't. And I don't know
Amazing.
anything about those people at all. That's what I'm talking about. So, like, people progress over time. Sometimes they have no kind of background in anything, and then all of a sudden, boom. But she has things, and where's this going to lead to? That's
Yes.
what I'm wondering.
Jay, her own family members
Yeah,
do
she
not
needs some
want
jail
anything to
time.
do with her and have contacted the Hales stating that they will testify on their behalf.
So shit, most people that stalk do have mental health issues, but she has a mental health issue, obviously, and her husband, it's her husband that's doing it with her as well, or
Her
is he just kind of there?
ex-husband.
Her ex-husband. Oh, that's why he's living in the RV and her and the kid are in the shed. Wow. So you've got two
Feelgood.
people.
Dr. Feelgood's been talking about the Hales. I've seen him in other live streams for What the Hales. Hello, Dr. Feelgood. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
interesting.
afraid that if something doesn't happen, that Jeremy and George are seriously going to get hurt.
And I feel that way too. I think it's gone too far for too long from what I can see on the videos and all the courts and what it's been led up to and who these people are. I mean, anybody has mental health issues that does those kind of things, has 29, 39 aliases, and is just doing that, selling their house to be across the street. It's leading up to something, and hopefully it's leading up to jail. Although jail's not going to give her any mental health any mental health help, but at least maybe it will get her away from them. And I mean, and they can't even have guns.
There's a child involved in her mental.
I know.
That
and
she's supposedly adopted, but nobody can find the official adoption.
So maybe she didn't adopt. Maybe maybe there's something
That's
bigger going on with that.
Saga.
Another saga. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you never know. Nowadays, she could have kidnapped her or took her from someone a long time ago, and she doesn't know where she even came from. Do you know how old she is?
She's very young.
Okay.
I want to say
young. That's not
3 or
good.
4.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, they definitely don't have any business having a 3 or 4-year-old doing those kind of things, first of all. Second of all, I wonder what's motivating them. Yeah. And then third, what's going to happen to be continued, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I cannot reiterate this enough. This case from What the Hales involves our First Amendment rights. All of us, not just YouTubers, journalists, media, everyone. Okay? It affects your right to bear arms, because if you have a protective order put against you, you can't bear arms anymore. So if some psychotic, crazy woman gets some off the rails judge,
and that's why I'm careful.
Order, you can no longer protect yourself.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that. And I hear you 110%, especially here in California, because they're already not liking they already don't want people to have guns, and they make it really difficult to get them legally. You have a lot of background paperwork and such. So, So,
and then
I can.
Another major way that this affects our community, as we said, is protective orders are a worthless piece of paper, because law enforcement don't enforce them. They don't throw the person who violates the order in jail the first time to make sure that those people get it through their heads that this is serious and to stop this behavior.
But it hasn't. Yeah, it hasn't been ever, like, in the history, which is I'm wondering when they're going to start, or if maybe one state will actually start and then they'll follow the trend, because that's what tends to happen. But so far, it never has been. I mean, I have, when I was younger, I grew up in a situation where I was real small, and my mom had a boyfriend that, she had a protective order, and it was a piece of paper. Later on, different story, but it never meant anything back then. And I'm 44. So we're 40 years later and we're still in the same situation. It hasn't gotten better.
Yes.
So how do we make that change?
Exactly. So what is my hope from
Yeah.
this case between What the Hales and the stalker? My hope is that Judge DeThomas is taken off the case.
Okay.
My hope is that it goes in front of a judge in Florida that has some common sense and follows the law. My hope is that Florida court, this judge in Florida court, this new judge, says, Florida, do your job and start arresting these people for breaking this order. If they don't do it, I'm hoping the higher courts will, because that'll start the chain reaction. Once these states are told that they need to start enforcing these protective orders, especially by a higher court, the dominoes will start falling and everything will start to fall into place. And people will stop being unalived because of this.
Yeah, because it's not like there's small clues that we're dropping here, like, oh, this is happening. It's not a small clue. It's that this person wants to unalive this person and they're being really aggressive. Or that's always the end result, right? It might not be they want to unalive them, but it's always the end result that happens when you're getting a protective order. You can take 50 cases and that's how they end up. So they need to do something about it. And I hope all of the judge getting thrown off and the higher aboves come in and they do something about this actual case and they do something about the protective order, because we need to start this trend. And I can see that social media is helping Jeremy. And so hopefully they bring enough attention to this case that they actually will do something, and not only for the big YouTubers, but for everybody.
Exactly. It's about changing the culture of these areas and every area in the world to make sure that these protective orders are not a worthless piece of paper. It's about saving lives.
Yeah, I think we need to do another video. I have so many ideas swirling in my head right now about that particular idea, because we went from, we're talking about What the Hales right now and what's happening with their drama, but it's so much bigger than that. And there's so many other cases that they just don't pay attention to it. So,
I don't know that Jeremy and George realize that this is so much bigger than their First Amendment right and their right to bear arms. It affects our true crime community so much more than what they realize. And what he's doing, fighting for his First Amendment right and his right to bear arms and to drag down his own road, is great. And I stand behind him 100%.
Of course,
but
absolutely.
It goes so much bigger than that in our community. And I hope somebody that knows him tells him that.
Yeah, I agree. He's doing a live now, and you see there's other people doing videos about him and so forth, because he's not your typical person, right? He's if your typical person was doing this, they don't get all the attention and right, they don't have enough money to keep going back to court and paying them for the videos and doing all this. He's bringing attention, and it is good content for his channel, and he's fighting it for himself. But hopefully someone does bring awareness to him that he's not only fighting for himself, but he has a platform that he can use to help fight for everybody else. So that's what I'm getting out of this and what you're saying. I don't know how, I don't know him. I've only watched a couple of videos, so I'm not sure the awareness or what he does and how he helps the community with the platform he has.
Yeah. Dustin, I just put this in the chat. I've got my email address here. Send me an email about the information of the people in Texas. We'll cover it.
Yeah, I'd love to cover that too. That's what I said. I was like, I need to know about that. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, we'll cover it.
Any of these. There's so many cases right now that we need to cover.
Oh, I know.
But yeah, every day I see them, and so I came out with a couple of them last week, and then the day after it hit, like even the one I just did with the cult leader Elijah Bishop, there was no actual like stories. I could just find clips, so I put a story together. And today I'm looking at YouTube and I'm finding these YouTubers putting a story. It's an interesting case. Even Elijah Vu, that one, that hit quick, but it was news clips, and then everybody jumped on it.
Well, tomorrow we have a treat for you because okay, we'll look into it, Dustin. He says he can't right now helping with it, but can say right now 9 bodies found in lake and 6 missing people as well.
This is in Texas, right?
Yeah.
Well, I can look it up in Texas. I've got their news channels that I subscribe to. Yeah. Yep.
So as a lot of my viewers know, I spent the weekend. It was supposed to only be Saturday, but it ended up Saturday and most of today in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, searching for Elijah Vu, the 3-year-old that's missing, that went missing on the 20th. Tomorrow night, we're going to join forces again, Jay, and we're going to talk about Elijah's story and about what happened when we went and did the searches.
I can't wait for that one. You're a saint for that. If I could do that, I would love to do that. I'm way out here. When a California case comes out, watch out.
Exactly.
I'll be there. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about what happened when you were there and how the people received you and all that stuff. So, and hopefully pictures for us, because my head's just, I'm so visual.
I got pictures and video.
You see the visuals every time I have a visual, but I ran out of room. So now I need to, I got to watch our YouTube visuals.
Yep. I got pictures and videos. So
good. Can't wait.
So that is tomorrow night. Jay, I agree. We need to bring in some stories of cases where the protective orders failed and individuals lost their lives to tie in with what the Hales and why this is such a bigger story than what they think of, what they think it is.
Absolutely. That's an easy one for me. I'm typing it in here. I got my chat bar here and I'll type in about protective orders that have failed. That's simple for me because, as you know, true crime all the time for me. So I could think of a ton of them and I'll find them and we can talk about what you are, what you know and what I know, or I could just throw something together. But yeah, there's so many of them, Marv, so many.
I know.
And nothing's changed, and I don't understand why. There's always some kind of
every day gets worse.
But there's always some kind of new law. If you notice, when there's a change, there's Haley's law or whatever's law, and they make this new little like niche law for that state. But I don't understand why they're not hitting the protective order part of it. That's the first sign.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right? Where they every time when there's an unaliving and all that happens, there's a new law with their daughter's name or her son's name. You know, they do some foundation, but yeah, protective laws aren't being addressed.
Dustin, send me an email just so I have your email address. And believe me, we have cases. We'll cover your cases out of South Texas, And we have other cases that we can give you to help us spread the word.
Oh, yeah.
We can work together, work jointly.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we could see there's so many cases about this we can tie into it. So, yeah, I'm looking right here and there's so many of them, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
So we're going to keep you updated on what the Hales, what's happening with this judge. Will he get permanently removed by the upper courts? Is
Yes, I hope
Florida
so.
going to be forced to actually do something and enforce these protective orders? Or will Ohio take care of it all?
Yeah, let's hope Florida removes him, and if Ohio steps in, hopefully they step in before something happens. But yeah, let's keep them updated on this because now I subscribe to What the Hales, and I didn't know about them at all or any of this until like today. And
Yeah.
but the protective order thing I know all about, and that's in
Yeah.
my back pocket. Also, the rights to bear arms, the First Amendment, what we can talk about on here. Those are all big issues. So, yeah, let's do that. And tomorrow night, Elijah Vu. I don't know if you've learned anything new. I'm keeping up on that, and every time anything comes out, I think they're just kind of reiterating a lot of stuff that's happening. I keep seeing updates,
Yes.
but yeah, I
But
haven't seen.
we'll go over everything that's happened for 2 weeks.
Cool.
I did meet the family. Give you more on that tomorrow night.
Good. So are you ready to wrap this up then?
Yeah, we'll wrap this
All right.
up. We'll do a part 2, give you updates, bring you some cases where protective orders have failed. Tomorrow night, Elijah View. And there's other
What
cases
time?
that you and I both want to talk about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I didn't even know we both did the Elijah Vu like the same days. So yeah, I know all about that.
How do we
Let me
get a
know
hold
what
of
time.
you, Dustin?
Yeah, shoot an email in there. You've got a lot of typing going on here. Just if you drop an email in there, then I'll type it into my sidebar and I'll send you an email.
Yeah.
But I see him in some of my chats as well. So I think I can probably also see him on YouTube.
Yes, and if you haven't subscribed to
Yes.
Guilty of Crime,
Guilty of crime.
subscribe.
Guilty of crime. Everybody's guilty of crime.
Yeah.
That's the channel. Everybody, I list in this last week. I've been guilty verdict, just bam, bam, bam. So there you go. That's where the name comes in. So many guilties of crime, right?
Right.
And for anybody that's on my channel, Marv Beyond the Evidence, she gets real deep into things and she gets to go out there. So this is cool. Now we get to collaborate. So yeah, let's do this tomorrow. You tell me the time. Our schedule,
Same
I
time,
think
same time as tonight. 7 my time, which is what your time?
it's 5. We'll talk behind the scenes only because
Okay.
I have to pick. Otherwise, I have to pick my daughter up early. But if we do 6, then I can.
Oh,
But I don't
that's
know if
fine.
8 is too
8
late. If
my
we do
time?
6 o'clock, 8 your time, 6 my time will work.
Okay, we can do that.
Cool. That sounds great. All right, let's do it, Marv. Everybody, have a good night. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all this stuff. Let's get it. Let's get
Yes.
both of us. Beyond the Evidence is doing amazing. Let's boost her up, and let's get me on some more algorithms. Right?
Exactly.
I appreciate every one of you. Thank you, Marv. Everybody, have a good night. I'm going to eat now.
All right, you have a good night, Jay.
Have a good night, everybody.
And for all of my followers, subscribers, thank you so much. Much love to all of you. Like she said, share the stream, like, subscribe to both channels. And remember, justice matters for each and every one of these victims. Have a good night, everybody. See you later.